In this video we are going to look at some important terms in Excel and how to use this feature in Excel: relative reference, absolute reference, and mixed reference. So let's look at relative reference first of all. Now, to get the total of all these scores for each student, what I'll do is to manually sum up these scores for each student. I'll type equal sign, then I would type sum. You can press your tab key and highlight what you want to sum up. These 4 cells, highlight, then press enter, then drag to get the rest. Or one simple way also to get the sum of all these scores is to first of all highlight all the cells you want to fill totals for. Highlight everything and press equals to and type the function, the sum function, that's sum. You can press your tab key, tab key on your keyboard, highlight and press not just enter, press Ctrl enter on your keyboard to get all the sums at once. Now if you look at how the auto fill feature works in Excel, now the way it works is that first of all, let me show all the formulas so that you see what's happening. Press Ctrl tilde on your keyboard, Ctrl tilde. Under the escape key, ESC key, you see the button I'm talking about to get all the formulas in your Excel sheet. Now let's look at what's happening. Now the way Excel works is that when you apply the autofill feature, this dot you see and you drag down, Excel takes down the formula. Excel references the cells downwards. Excel knows you want to sum up downwards, so from C4 Excel takes it to C5, to C6, to C7, C8, and so on. And that's how relative reference works. To show your formulas, you can also go to formulas here and you click on show formulas and I'll go back to what I have before. Now, so that's relative reference in Excel. Now what about absolute reference? So let's look at this data. Like before, to get the total, I'll just highlight, press equals to and type sum, press the tab key on your keyboard and highlight all the cells you want to sum, the 4 cells, and press Ctrl enter. Or you just type in the first cell, type equals to and type sum, press your tab key, highlight the number of cells you want to sum up and press enter, then you drag down from this dot here to get the other sums. Now on absolute reference, say you want to get the average of all these totals, click on that cell, press equals to on your keyboard and divide 219 by 400. that will give us the average. Now if you want to get the percentage average, what you do is to click on that cell, go to home and click on this percentage symbol under the number category. Click on this percentage symbol to get your answer in percentage. Now do you know if I drag down, I'll get, let's see, let's drag down and see what happens. These figures are not correct. I'll show you why they are not correct. The correct average, percentage average we have here is 73%. Now press Ctrl tilde on your keyboard or you go to formula and press show formulas and see, let's see what's happening. Now Excel is showing us all the formulas now and we can see what's happening. Our focus is on the average column. You can see when I click on this first cell, I get the right thing, that this one is correct. So to get the average for Shola Ade, I'm to divide cell G5, that's this one, by this one, that's G4, to get the average. Now what about this one? Let's click on this one, the next one. You can see this is wrong because what I'm supposed to do to get the average for Ebube Charles is to divide his total, which is here, by 400, but Excel is dividing Ebube Charles total, which is this cell, by this cell, this one, which is G5. So Excel is using relative reference automatically for us, and what we need is not relative reference. Okay, let's go on to the next one and see. You can see as I click, it tells me that I'm dividing current cell by the previous cell, current cell by the previous cell. So Excel is using relative referencing based on the first calculation, which divides this current cell for Shola Ade by the previous cell. So Excel thinks you want to use relative referencing to get the others, so that's why it's treating the calculation like that. Now what you need to do is to lock lock this cell so that Excel does not use relative referencing. You use absolute referencing instead. So what I want to do is to say, okay, Excel, don't use, I want to use G4 all through. G4 is the reference cell for 400. So Excel, I want to use G4 all through. I don't want to use your default relative reference. But rather than typing G4 manually, there's a way you can go about it. So I would go back to formulas and I'll press show formulas to go back to the figures I have before. Now I don't need all these figures. So what you do now is to tell Excel, okay, this G4, go to the formula bar, place your mouse on G4, click on G4 and press the F4 key on your keyboard. Press the F4 key on your keyboard. Don't forget what I did. What I did first of all was to click on this G4 because I want to lock that G4. I want to lock it so I said does not move it, does not use relative referencing for me. I want an absolute referencing. So that total of 400, which is on the G4 cell. So I would click on that G4 on my formula bar. You can also click on it here anywhere you like, here or here, and I'll press on F4 on my keyboard. F4, click on it, and once you see these $2 signs appearing in front of G and then 4, G is for the column and 4 is for the row. So I'm locking both the row and the column, referencing that cell which contains the figure 400. So that's how to lock a cell in Excel to apply the absolute referencing. So I'll click on enter. You can see when I now drag, I'll get the right thing. Let's go to show formula and see what happens. Show formula. Click on formulas and click on show formulas. You can see that Excel is referencing only the G4 for me, G4 cell, which is this cell that has 400 in it. So all of my calculations is referencing the cell with 400 in it. So that's how to lock a cell in order to apply the absolute referencing in Excel. Now, what about mixed referencing? Let me click on show formula again to go back to the original figures. So how does mixed referencing work? Now, unlike absolute referencing that has both the row and the column of this cell locked, mixed referencing is when you lock only one of either the column or the row. So let's go back and check. Now here I want to multiply, for example, 1 by 2, 2 by 4 to get the answer here. To get the answer here, I'll multiply 2 by 6. To get the answer here, I'll multiply 4 by 10. To get the answer here, I'll multiply 5 by 10. Now what will work here? Both relative reference and absolute reference will not work here. Let's try it. For example, you want to multiply 2 by 1 to get the answer to that cell. So type equals to and press 2. Press Ctrl 8. Ctrl 8 on your keyboard gives you the asterisk symbol. Ctrl 8. Then press on 1. That will give you this. Now when I drag down, see what happens. I get wrong answers because 10 times 1 can't give me 3840. It's not possible. So Excel is using the relative reference. Let's show formula and see what happens. Click on formula and show the formulas. See what Excel is doing. When I click on the first one, it's showing me that I'm doing the right thing. But when I click on the second one, it shows so Excel is taking the formulas downwards. You can see downwards, trying to replicate the first calculation. But that's not what you want. Click on show formula to go back to what it was before. Ctrl Z to undo. Click here, you have B3. Click here, you have B4. You can see B is constant. Here you have B5. Here you have B6. Here you have B7. B is constant, so I have locked B in this formula because B is constant. I've locked it. But for the horizontal figures, click on 1 here, you have C2 as the cell reference. Click on the next one, you have D2, next one E2, next one F2, next one G2. So what's constant? The row 2 is what's constant and the column is varying. So in this formula also, now you are going to make the 2 to be constant. Click anywhere around C2 and press the F4 key. Press it till you have the $sign in front of only 2. So it means now you have locked the row 2. So click on enter. You can now drag down, and you get the right answers. 2 times 1 is 2, 4 times 1 is 4, 6 times 1 is what? 6, 8 times 1 is, and so on. Then highlight the answers and drag forward. From this dot, drag forward to get the rest at once. So this will give you the accurate answer. You can see 10 times 5 is 50. 10 times 4 is 40. 10 times 5 is 30. 4 times 3 is 12. So this is mixed referencing. Okay, let's stop there.